Do good, Maverick. Go here. Welcome to podcast episode number 84 Billionaire Advice, the Regret Minimization Framework. This is something that I heard from Jeff Bezos, the founder of Amazon.com. I heard it years ago, and it's pretty brilliant. When it comes to making decisions, especially big decisions, big, maybe life changing decisions, it's a great framework to help you put things in perspective. I actually have a clip of him explaining it himself. Let me try to play it off. Hopefully the audio will be good enough. Let's try.
I went to my boss and said to him, I'm going to go do this crazy thing, and I'm going to start this company selling books online. And this is something that I already been talking to him about in a sort of more general context. But then he said, let's go on a walk. And we went on a 2-hour walk in Central Park in New York City. And the conclusion of that was this. He said, this actually sounds like a really good idea to me, but it sounds like it would be a better idea for somebody who didn't already have a good job. And he convinced me to think about it for 48 hours before making a final decision. And so I went away and was trying to find the right framework in which to make that kind of big decision. And, I'd already talked to my wife about this, and she was very supportive and said, look, you can count me in 100%, whatever you want to do. It's true. She had married this kind of, fairly stable guy in a stable career path, and now he wanted to go do this crazy thing, but she was 100% supportive. So it really was a decision that I had to make for myself. And the framework I found, which made the decision incredibly easy, was what I called, which only a nerd would call, a regret minimization framework. So I wanted to project myself forward to age 80 and say, okay, now I'm looking back on my life. I want to have minimized the number of regrets I have. And, I knew that when I was 80, I was not going to regret having tried this. I was not going to regret having wanted, trying to participate in this thing called the internet that I thought was going to be a really big deal. I knew that if I failed, I wouldn't regret that. But I knew the one thing I might regret is not ever having tried. And I knew that would haunt me every day. And so when I thought about it that way, it was an incredibly easy decision. And I think that's a very good, it's if you can project yourself out to age 80 and sort of think, what will I think at that time? It gets you away from some of the daily pieces of confusion. I left this Wall Street firm in the middle of the year. When you do that, you walk away from your annual bonus. And that's the kind of thing that in the short term can confuse you. But if you think about the long term, then you can really make good life decisions that you won't regret later.
Do you? I'm not sure if you were able to hear that, but basically to kind of project yourself out to age 80. Imagine that you are 80 years old and looking back at your life. Will you regret it if you make this decision? If you make this decision and it succeeds, will you regret it? If you make this decision and you fail, will you regret it? That's one of many methods to help you make better decisions, the regret minimization framework. I think I've heard people call something similar like the rocking chair test. Imagine yourself being old, like 80, 90 years old, sitting in a rocking chair, looking back on your life and kind of try to see things from that perspective, The perspective you have has a tremendous impact on how easy decisions can be to make, So whatever you are considering doing, maybe you should try that method. Maybe you are considering, like a lot of people, maybe you should try to make money online, and maybe someday you could escape the matrix of the 9-to-5 rat race and live a life of freedom, Is it just a pipe dream, or is it really possible? Well, the dream of freedom is possible, even though I have not achieved any remarkable success myself. And I'm definitely not an expert at it. But the thing is that the last few weeks, I've been interviewing a bunch of people about their paid community success stories. People that are making at least $10,000 profit per month by running a paid community. And it's fascinating. There is a reason that I'm calling it community cash cows. The book and course and community that I'm working on. The title is Community Cash Cows, because the way a lot of people are running these paid communities are basically like a cash cow business, And if you're considering something like that, maybe you should use that regret minimization framework. And when Jeff Bezos started Amazon.com many years ago, he basically quit his job and invested something like $1 million, I think, into the business. But you don't have to do things like that these days. these days with more advanced technology and AI and social media, stuff like that, you can basically launch a paid community almost for free. You don't have to invest $1 million. You don't even have to quit your job. You can do both. You don't always have to do, or you don't always have to make the decision of either or. Are you going to continue your job, or are you going to quit your job and become an entrepreneur? These days, you don't even have to make that decision many times, because oftentimes you can start your entrepreneurial project as a side hustle, as they call it, and just gradually grow it. And who knows, if you start maybe just a few short months from now, you might be making more money from your paid community than you do on your job. Of course, there's absolutely no guarantees for something like that. I'm just saying it might be possible, because what one man can do, another man can do. And there's a bunch of success stories out there of people that launched a paid community, and very quickly after they launched it, they were already making over $10,000 in profit, like just 2 to 3 months, something like that, after they launched it. Some people even faster. Some people do it within just a few short weeks. So it is possible. Anyway, if you want to learn from real life success stories of people that have built paid communities that are making at least $10,000 in profit per month, you should check out communitycashcows.com. All right. God bless.